We just saw Joseph Parker defend his WBO heavyweight title against Cojanu. We all know that he was due to defend it against Hughie Fury, but unfortunately that fight didn't go through because Hughie pulled out because of a back injury. Now going into this fight, Razwan apparently had 300 amateur fights and he was going to qualify for the Beijing Olympics, so he knew his way around the ring and he was quite an experienced fighter. He was a lot bigger than Parker, and usually you see fighters trying to control the fight, taller fighters trying to control the fight by using the jab, by using movement and try and keep the shorter fighter at bay. But we didn't see that at all with this fighter. We saw him virtually not do much, never put Joseph Parker in any trouble at all. I think he just went into survival mode and wanted to last the full duration of the fight. And he did just that. I was listening to the commentators, or at least one of the commentator commented on Joseph Parker's performance and said that it wasn't a very good performance and it was a poor performance by Joseph Parker. But I would like to disagree or put a different spin on things. We never saw Joseph Parker in any trouble during that fight. We never saw him in danger, and he was in complete control from round 1 through to round 12. We saw very good use of the jab. We saw him fire everything from off of the jab. We saw him throw quick combinations. We saw him go from body to head. And we saw him throw a lot of fast combinations and control the fight quite comfortably. So what makes you believe that it was a poor performance? I think it's because we didn't see him get him out of there. And you could argue that the last couple of rounds, maybe Joseph Parker should have forced the issue a bit more in order to get the stoppage, but I thought he won it very comfortably. He was definitely a different class than this other guy who took the fight with only 3 weeks' notice. Now, I think we're getting spoilt by watching the likes of Anthony Joshua take on the likes of Kevin Johnson and Molina, and we see how Anthony Joshua gets those stoppages in those fights. But if you study those fights and look at them again, Molina or Kevin Johnson were knocked out cold. They were very conscious, very aware of what was going on after the referee stopped the fight. I think what happens is with these guys is they step into the ring with someone like Anthony Joshua, realize they're going to be outclassed and just decide to go down for the sake of it. I'm not saying Anthony Joshua isn't a strong puncher. We saw that against Dillian Whyte. We saw it against Anthony Joshua. But I think that these guys are a lot stronger than we give them credit for. I think they just give up and go down. But in this situation, this individual decided that he wasn't going to go down. I think his claim to fame is going to be that I went the distance with the WBO heavyweight champion of the world. And I think that's what his aim was. And I suppose he achieved that aim. But like I said, a lot of these journeymen tend to go down a lot sooner than they should. They're a lot tougher than what we think, but I think they just go down because they're being outclassed and they don't want to take any more punishment. But this guy was quite awkward, and we saw him take a lot of Joseph Parker's power shots and survive. I think Anthony Joshua beats Joseph Parker. If we're talking about what's next for Joseph Parker, I think the likes of Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker, if they fought, Anthony Joshua would win. I also think if he fought Deontay Wilder would win. I think that they'll be too athletic for him, too strong. But I would really like to see Joseph Parker take on Dillian Whyte or Tony Bellew, because I think it's more of a 50-50 fight than, say, Wilder or Klitschko or AJ. I think those guys, those elite guys, beat Joseph Parker, but I think people like Tony Bellew and Dillian Whyte give him a tough fight, and it's a 50-50 fight. I think someone like Tony Bellew, who's looking for a heavyweight world title, will be watching that with mouth-watering anticipation, same as Dillian Whyte, who's also chasing for a world title. And I think they're going to be looking at that fight thinking, hold on a minute, I fancy my chances against this dude. So who knows, we might be seeing Dillian Whyte fight against Joseph Parker. And I think Tony Bellew, although he's been hyping up a fight with Deontay Wilder after that performance, he might decide to go for Parker. But I didn't think it was a disappointing performance. It would be disappointing if he rocked Parker. It would be disappointing if Parker struggled, if he frustrated Parker even, but that wasn't the case. We saw Parker dominate the whole fight. He just didn't get the stoppage. But I think it was an easy win for him. And I'd like to see what happens next and who his next fight will be against. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks.